It's James Murray. We're in the Net News Ledger newsroom with Ontario Regional Chief Isadore Day. Welcome back.
Hi, James.
It's been a while.
It's been a few months.
You've been busy.
Very.
Issues that are hitting the plate right now. Can you share with our readers and viewers on what's going on? What are you working on?
Well, a number of things happened that have been transpiring over the last several months. I'll just kind of start with what's happened in the last few weeks. The one major one was the speech from the throne, the Ontario government. And in the throne speech, there were a number of things that were raised by the Premier and Cabinet through the Crown's presentation. The one major thing that Ontarians are concerned about right now is the grinding poverty that is associated with the high hydro rates. And that seemed to have been one of the things that is pushing the province to talk about where they're at in terms of the state of the economy, what are they doing around policies around energy, and what happens is that whole discussion loops back to the work and commitments that we have in front of the Ontario government with respect to First Nations issues. The one major thing that is critical in our work with the Ontario government over the next 20 months, which is the last leg of their mandate, is the issue of resource revenue sharing.
Yes.
Because of poverty. We need to get that resolved because at the end of the day, there is a purse, and if the Ontario government is making different investments here and there, they need to be concerned about the grinding poverty that exists in our communities.
Yes, it's probably the biggest issue, because if you have grinding poverty, you don't have good food. If you don't have good food, how do you have the motivation to go to school for a kid?
Absolutely.
As simply as that.
Yeah, you know, we know that there's a big set of issues that transpire when there's poverty in our communities, when there's historical issues coming out of the Indian Residential School experience, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and all the work towards reconciliation. You know, the issue of poverty and a lack of economy in our communities, they go hand in hand. Today I'm in Thunder Bay. Lakehead University just installed one of their faculty members to the chair of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And we had an opportunity to address the federal Indigenous Affairs Minister, Carolyn Bennett, as well as Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation, Minister Zimmer. And basically my point to them was, yes, let's talk reconciliation, but what are we doing? What is the plan going forward right now? So what I've done is I've put it to them that we need to take the time. We need to sit down as a provincial and a federal government and First Nations, as it pertains to First Nations issues in Ontario. What does reconciliation mean on the ground? Where are we finding the results? We need a plan.
We need action.
Action. Absolutely.
Action is the real issue. There's been criticism of government from a number of areas where what we're getting is lots of talk. Do you feel we're getting talk moving to action, or should it be moving to action faster?
Well, obviously it needs to move to action faster. I'm going to cut to the chase here on the issue of the 2% cap, for example. We know for sure that the 2% cap has existed for 20 years in our First Nation communities, and what the Assembly of First Nations, you know, and I'm on the national executive, but stood against the establishment of a memorandum of understanding with the federal government around a process. We don't need more process. What we need is we need to get money in our communities on the ground, and it needs to happen yesterday. The Liberal government, when they came into federal power last year, they said that they were going to lift the 2% cap. They didn't mean to say that they were going to give us $8.4 billion over 5 years, and that's supposed to assume that the 2% cap is gone. We need to make sure that money is getting into our communities today. So that is one of the areas where we need action. We don't need more process. We don't need more words. And my efforts with the federal and provincial government are, let's sit down, let's talk about the real issues, and let's collaborate on a plan, because either we're chasing the provincial government or we're chasing the federal government, and we're never getting them in the same room at the same time. Today, the effort was made and the commitment was made. If you want to talk reconciliation in front of the faculty and student body of Lakehead University, then make the commitment here today. And they had no choice, they did.
Excellent. Issue that's really surfaced in Thunder Bay recently and grown to a really big area is violence and homelessness.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Well, I know that the city of Thunder Bay has been under a veil of constant death. Been a lot of violence, and it's treachery. Sitting back. I live in another part of the province, but every time I hear about Thunder Bay in the news, it's not uncommon to hear that there's been another loss of life. And I've been, quite concerned about this for a number of months, to the point where I have actually begun my discussions as the Ontario Regional Chief with Ontario and Canada. I've been talking about those that are connected to municipalities, and certainly reaching out to the chiefs. I've spoken with 4 women chiefs from the north, and I've expressed to them my issues and concerns with the extreme loss of life. We shouldn't lose one life, the way that we've been seeing that loss of life happen here in Thunder Bay. So I've proposed a 4-corner table, looking at a very different approach to community safety. And I'm not gonna reveal the entire framework and concept of what that is, but we're getting ready, and we're going to be bringing government to the table. We're going to be sitting down with the municipality. Thunder Bay is probably one of the more extreme scenarios, but these are not things that we should just be looking at on TV. We need to get in and we need to find solutions, because every life that is lost, just think about it. If a 23-year-old loses his or her life, generally most times they got children. So you're not seeing just that one life affected. There are entire families and the entire First Nation community in the urban center is being impacted.
It's time for action.
Chief
Dave, thank you for coming in.
Yep.
Let's make sure we keep in touch and keep pushing these issues forward.
Will do. And just on that note, James, I think what I'd like to propose is somewhat of a chronicle on this issue, and I definitely would like to spend more time to utilize your outlet for getting the communication out there on this issue. Just a note to the viewers that we will be having a Chiefs of Ontario magazine, and I've actually written an article called Homeland Reconnect that talks about First Nation homelessness in the urban center and some of the things that we need to start doing. And the 4-corner table and getting all the right people at the table at the same time is just one of the initial steps. But I certainly believe it is time to talk about this. There's far too many lives lost, and we've got to think about the next generation.
Thank you.
Thank you.